So, I'm John Tuck, and welcome to another episode with us at the Centre for the Health and Wellness of Earth. Our guest today is Alicia Sawaya. Hello and welcome, Alicia.
Hi.
Hi. So, I'm going to read this text that I've adapted for the purpose from Alicia's bio. So, like many of us, Alicia's navigated a tortuous path for all of her life, and will be telling us briefly about the incredible journey that she's traveled and the adventures that she's experienced. She says she's had fantastic teachers in EFT, emotional freedom technique, emo trance, heart math, trauma release, iridology, colonics and detoxing, nutrition, herbal medicine, and various healing instructors. The present one being in divine empowerment, where much of the focus is on release of trauma and programming and energetic cellular regeneration. She's always had her guides, and last year she had some new ones come in that she works with on a daily basis on a telepathic level. There are a couple of Sasquatches, which she said are such earthly loving beings with a great sense of humor. Alicia feels she's been on a loner for most of her time here on the planet, and now she feels like it'd be great to positively create with others. She says that we're divine beings who are all connected and all individually unique. Now we can celebrate and create all of this together. Having known Alicia for about a decade, and particularly over the last several months, where she's used her divine empowerment program with me, I can wholeheartedly advocate her work in so much as having transformed my life from every angle, including everything and everyone in the environment that I immerse myself in, so that now I'm in a significantly happier place. So I hand the chat to Alicia Sawaya, who will introduce herself and her background and tell us what she's working on now and how she's able to help anyone who's called to work with her. Over to you, Alicia. Tell us all about yourself.
Tell about myself. Okay. Well, the beginnings, I was born in Santa Monica, California. So all the upbringing was in California. And yeah, I didn't know as a child that I always got information as a baby, even because I remember it. I remember it was light. It wasn't voices or anything like that. I didn't get anything like that. But that stayed there till I was 7, until my mother said, "That's enough. We don't need any more extra plates on the table." And then I just remember it was like all the blood drained out of me, and it just stopped for a while until I got into my teens. But I didn't know what it was. I didn't understand it. And I could see energy fields around things. Then the voices started coming in as a protective thing. It was just say, look to the right or stop, or it was more that type of thing. And I still didn't understand what it was. There was dreams and knowings about things. I think the most profound one was it kept telling me about different lifetimes. This was when I was 5 or 6. And particularly this knowing about government bodies and education and religion. So there was always questions trying to figure out how this thing worked. And it was just like a little body with a old soul in it type feeling. And it's just like they weren't answering the questions. School was a complete disaster as far as I was concerned, because there wasn't anything there of value to me. And it was like a prison sentence. And I couldn't understand why they were doing something so horrible to me. I couldn't understand why my parents were putting me in a place like that. And it was supposed to be fun. There was no fun there. It was really weird. And the only thing I could connect to was the Mexicans and our native Indians, because they were in our school. And I related to them better. I understood them. It was like we could just be together and we didn't have to talk. And like talking was an issue. So I didn't start speaking as a baby until I was about 2 or so. You know, I couldn't. It wasn't the right language. Is weird anyway. It's bizarre. It just doesn't have any. I can't wait till we get to full telepathic communication because it's just it's a strange. It's like it's not normal, and we're missing out on so many opportunities and so many possibilities just because of a language, you know. So yeah. So as I progressed through the systems, I kept asking questions. Why? Wasn't getting any answers. So even with religion, I couldn't understand. The Catholicism didn't make any sense to me. And because the aspect of sin and a baby having sin, those types of things were just, it doesn't make, a child understands it doesn't make sense. You know, it's a child's not stupid, you know. So 18, that was a big transformation. So that was that liberation from that system. And then going the first year of junior college, that was still in California. And then I was able to make a trip to Africa. That was huge. That was kind of like coming home in Africa. So, and then going into Europe, going into Lebanon, Greece, and those areas. And then I was able to stay in Europe and go to school there in arts because that was the only thing I felt I was good at. And then from there, I went to the Netherlands for a 5-year art academy. And yeah, and then came back to the US, set up a company with my husband at the time. And we ran that in San Diego as a design advertising company. And then our relationship split, and that sent me back to Europe. And in the meantime, I had, well, before I left back to Europe, then the transformation into holistic healing happened because a Mexican friend of mine challenged me. He said, you have stuck energy in your body and you need to release it. It's keeping you prisoner. And I said, no, it's not. He said, yes, it is. I says, you don't know what you're talking about. So I dare you to go to Mueller's school. And he says, there's a lovely practitioner there. Let her give you a massage. And I thought he was, and he said, no, he says, I challenge you to do it. And so I said, okay. So I went over there and had my first massage with my eyes wide open, staring at the ceiling and going, I don't have any emotions stuck in me. I know I don't. And then for some reason, I went for a second and third massage, and then I realized he was completely right. And that's when I enrolled in the college. And that was the huge step because I was really fortunate to work with Bill Mueller, who founded the College of Massage and Holistic Training. And that's when I really understood about the beginnings of how we hold energy and emotion and everything in our body. And that was the beginning of the transformation. And then later on in Europe, when I came back to Europe, I continued with that in the UK and went into herbal medicine and trained again with some amazing herbalists, and then went for my master's degree at Westminster University. Not that I'm an academic, but I wanted to make that next step. And yeah, I've been a part of the Association of Master Herbalists for the last 25 so years. And you just keep learning, you keep growing. And it's a fascinating transformation that you go through as a practitioner. Every time you have a client, every time you work with somebody, you're healing at the same time, you're transforming at the same time. So, and now, you know, all those kind of dreams and messages I got in the past and the people I work with, it makes sense what's been happening in the last 3 or 4 years. It's like, finally, finally we're in that place where we're going to really be able to all come together and really create. And so I'm just happy to be here. I'm glad you asked me to come on board and have a chat with you guys. And yeah, that's that part of my story anyway.
Thank you, Alicia. And tell us a bit more about what you're doing now, particularly from the divine empowerment perspective and the results that you've seen, not just my own, but I'm sure with many other clients.
Yeah, because again, in this journey, going back to what Bill Mueller was training us in, was we really had our own ability to heal ourselves. And then I did a week course with Joe Dispenza. I knew about Ramtha. All of these people were saying the same thing. So I started to see it happening in my own practice because I was trained in kinesiology also. So why not check and see what they need? What did they need? Yeah, I'd used a Vega machine. I knew that you could use machines. I knew you could test it. Those are a really fantastic aid working with a client. But what's really going on? Is that really the first place we go to, or is it just cleaning off the emotional stuff? And now we know with epigenetics, we know it's in the DNA. It sets there. So I started backtracking from the herbal side a bit and then asking the client by muscle testing, what is the first place we need to go to? And then I started to see there was more of the emotional release that had to come. Then if they needed detoxing, cleansing, and everything, we'd add that package together. And so I did a lot of training in different healing modalities. And then I came across divine empowerment, which was completely a different world that Antonia Harmon was actually working on. And she'd been meditating and working and training with other healers herself for years. And then she started to put these structures together, these frequencies together, and asking other questions. So I came on board about 2 years ago, year and a half, 2 years ago. And there was just something about it. There was a quality about it that was completely different, and it was fast. And her whole idea was we should be able to heal like that. That's what I'm aiming for. Yeah. We should be able to do it. We should be able to be our own med beds. Yeah. And that was the language I wanted to hear. So that's why I signed up, and I just went right through all her levels to get to the top levels, because I'd already had a lot of background there and a lot of training. So I wanted to get to her meaty bits. And she's still developing it. It's still evolving. It's not static. It's something that keeps evolving. So that's when I jumped on board. And these last 2 levels have been really amazing. And we're all saying the same thing. Everything's moving faster. When we do the clearing on people, it's very fast. And we're doing it on all of the dimensions, all the ancestral lines, all through the DNA, everything. Even past lives that haven't transitioned over, we're running the frequencies through. So that's what I'm really excited about, and bringing it all together and moving it much quicker. And we're in those times now, we're not in the dark ages. So, we're in a position now where everything's going to move fast. Just naturally, it's going to be doing it. So I'm really excited about developing that even further, and what she'll come up with next, and how we'll evolve as a team, as a group of practitioners.
But
yeah.
it must have been fantastic to be there at sort of ground roots with Antonio, working with her and the team to actually put together a concise package.
Well, yeah, because it evolves while she's giving us the next level. So we're in the class, and she's giving us the program, and the worksheets, and this is what you guys are going to be able to do. And as we're there working with it, it evolves. So she's constantly giving us updated notes, even a week or 2 later. And this last one we did, it kept going for weeks. It wasn't finished. It just kept evolving. And that is because we're all working on it, definitely. Yeah. And then our
So
next one, sorry?
do you have any specific success stories that you've had since you've been using this process?
This, I have to say this last level has been the fastest. And like this morning, I worked with this, I've been working with this lady for a long time on different issues. We did cleansing programs, detox programs. Then we got into the emotional stuff, and that's when we were really getting into other things that were buried there that she didn't even know about. Now, that was a few years back, and we still keep in contact. And she just got in contact with me again, and we had a session last week, sorry. And she says, I have never seen anything like this. This is transformational, really quick. So this is 10 minutes working with her. And she always gets an asthmatic, it traumatizes her completely that she's almost disabled and can't walk, can't go upstairs. And we ran these frequencies through, and she's breathing clearer because we're hitting the issues that are there. But now with these frequencies, they're much more, they're faster and they're deeper. And I just really believe in going in on the DNA aspect, the whole epigenetics thing, all of that. Anything that I've had in the past, I'm just bringing it in the front and using those frequencies and just running it through and experimenting with it and watching how it evolves. But she came back this morning she says, I don't know what it is, but it's clearing fast. It's clearing fast. And she's being able to go objectively and look at things. So
Alicia, I'm sorry for interrupting. I was going to ask quickly, when you talk about sending frequencies, is it through a machine or is it your frequencies you're sending?
Yeah, you just call it up.
Great.
Yeah. So it's similar to a lot of different healing modalities where, like with Reiki, you call the symbols up. There's other types of healing. Again, you call the name up, or you call the frequency up, and then you direct it, and that's it. That's all you need to do. And it's fascinating. You do it over Zoom. You do it over the internet. I mean, I've had people go, do you want me to come, to the clinic or to the house or whatever? And I said, no, I can do it on Zoom. And they go, what? And I go, well, if you believe in healing, then hey, it'll go through the internet. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have that kind of
physical boundaries. Yeah.
Well, we were working on the internet. How does this all work? We're all in different parts of the world, and there you go. It's another type of magic, so to speak. So yeah, the healing, it doesn't have any limitations.
Yeah, there's no space and time with energy work. Exactly.
No. And energy workers know that. They know that that's what happens. It just goes.
I am very, very curious about your work with the Sasquatch because I've had my own encounters, and I stayed with Jack Lapsideris or Kiani or Kian. How do you say his first name? You might be familiar with him. He wrote Psychic Sasquatch back in the day. Yeah. And I was a guest in his home, and then he also directed my friend and I where to go and have an experience, which we thought we were ready for. We were aligning with for hours and just called it forth, and we're just in a great space until it happened.
Until it happened, yeah.
Until it happened, and I had no idea that every fear that was ever that was coming up for us, and but I honored the experience for sure, and I understood that they were really trying to connect with it. I saw myself through their eyes, okay, and that probably freaked me out the most in some ways. But I did recognize, in retrospect, after the whole thing, that they were there supporting the fact that we called them forth. It's like there was an energy there that was so again, it was just like I just wasn't ready to receive it, and it was like there was so much fear. But I can see how they would appear to those who are open to facilitate healing and to facilitate and to communicate, I guess, what their role is here, which I've understood for quite some time. But can you please talk about that experience and how you've integrated that into your work too, please?
So it happened last year, and I can't remember if it was, I saw something about Sasquatch and it hit me. It was like, you know, I know that signature. And so I started to investigate in CHWE's books and those types of things. I started reading them and I go, I understand this. I get it. I think they've already been hanging around a bit. And so then once I connected, they were hanging around. And it's so, I've never been into the angel thing, whether that's there. I had more connection with elementals a bit more, but this was completely different. And I realized that even the guides that I had from childhood that would step in or not step in and leave me in a blank place, this wasn't that way at all. This was immediate. And I can call them in to do, not to do things for me, because it's not a service. You know, come and play with me, and we it's more like teach me, catch me when I'm drifting off somewhere, and they're right there. I've never had some of the best sleep in my life because I said, okay, give me the next download, whatever you can in the evening, and I'm restless, I'm excited, I can't sleep the next minute this morning. They're right there. I can feel them. It's not a talking thing, it's a guidance thing. And then I got a hold of CHWE and spoke to him about it, and he says, I can find out where they are in your area. And I said, here? You know, you know, there's golf courses and there's, you know, I mean, he says, no. He says, they're portals, so they'll come up anywhere they want to, you know, it doesn't matter, you know, it's so I gave him a map of the area, and I know where there's some lays here, how powerful these lays are in Britain. And I thought maybe he would, another town, another village or something. No, it was across the road. It was actually, we had just changed our sports clubs we were going to work with. And this place is really nice up on the hill next to us. And he says, I found the spot. They're right here. Here's the map. This is what you say to call them out. Go there, say that 10 times. And I said, it's right in the golf course. You know, it's right there. It's all pine trees, though. It looks like up near Santa Cruz.
Oh, okay.
It's feeling of the mountains of California. It's all sandy and it's got the pine trees. I can feel them there. And so I went and did my 10 times calling them, and I felt this overwhelming opening of the heart. And I'm not like that. I don't usually feel that kind of thing. I like to give to people and help them, but it's kind of stay a distance. And I felt it. It was huge. It was massive. And I go, wow, well, what's it like if you actually see them or have that kind of contact? Because it was so impressive. And then I sat there in my car, and suddenly when I finished the last word, these acorns started falling out of the tree. And I go, oh, that's so cool. You know, and you can feel their humor. What I thought was really fascinating is you could actually feel their humor. So I went back to CHWE and I told him, and he says, you're on target. Just stay there. Just stay there with it. He says, don't ask them to present themselves. I said, no. I said, I'm already getting so much clearer telepathic stuff. Then I said, let's have fun with the traffic lights here. I need it clear all the time. I started turning right, which would be the other way around how we drive. But anyways, you have to go over the 2 lanes of traffic. Every time I can get through traffic, I noticed I was walking different, that I was becoming more and more conscious of me and here, and they keep giving me downloads, constant downloads. If I stop and get quiet, it's just coming through. and it's clearing my doubts, my fears. I feel like it's just like upgrading constantly, getting you to that point where you need to be at. That's what all of this has happened. That it's so to meet them or whatever. Yeah, it's a couple. It's a male and female that are across the street. So
Oh, wow.
I told them
That's so cool. I was going to jump in. Sorry, I have not what you guys have experienced, but a mini one, which is used to have some mountain property here in North Carolina, and I would leave little stones. I was told don't leave food, but leave little pebbles and stuff. And so when I'd come back up to the property, they'd be gone. Maybe they blew away. Maybe teenagers took them, and I'd see other stones. But when I finally left the property for the last time, there was a blue glass marble. It's around here somewhere, a blue glass marble. And then I heard in my mind, friend. I was like, I know you're out there. And I just heard friend in my mind. So that's my mini experience, but
oh wow.
they're out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
And-
definitely. Yeah. It's going to become more available to people too, I think. I think there's that time's come. You know, there's more. It's just, I mean, just without seeing how much information, how much clarity, how much healing that's happening. That's what's really surprised me. If I call them in on my sessions now.
That's great.
Every time.
Yeah.
You know, so it's and there's a different quality I can see that I don't get into my head space or my ego space at all. It's our space where we create an hour space, and then we can proceed with the session.
Yeah, they have probably understand the earth so much more than a lot of the other beings that are working with us. That there's such a grounding energy. It's something that I've really needed in my life a lot. So it's great to have that reminder, because this topic is coming up quite often, and I'm all of a sudden realizing it's like that's what I'm missing the most, is my connection to the earth. Although I go out and I ground, it's like I used to camp a lot. I used to sleep on the, in the wilderness. I used to hike a lot, and that hasn't been going on recently. But I'm connecting with that, hearing you say all that. I'm getting the downloads too. It's like, well, we're giving you exactly what you need to do in order to be aligned the way you want to be aligned. So yeah, that's great. I love this topic. It's great. And Jack is such a wonderful being. He's come quite a long ways himself, and keeps evolving. Yeah, that's awesome.
That was great to hear what you said. Yeah, about it. Yeah.
Does anybody have
Alicia,
questions? So sorry, John. But I'm just going to see if our guests have any questions for her.
Oh, sure.
And if not, that's okay too, of course.
Yeah,
But,
Christopher, Clara, if you have any questions, come on off mute if you like. And we can continue our conversation, but just jump in. I see they're all on mute.
Hey, John.
Well, yeah, in the meantime, Alicia, you mentioned a lot about, and I know you've worked with me also on clearing negative entities and portals. I think when you first worked with me in the property that I'm in, it's a 16th or 17th century cottage, and you said that you closed not one but 4 opened negative portals, and also most recently, perhaps a couple of months ago, you said you removed all of the access points for any negative entities on me. And I absolutely have felt that. I've felt absolutely amazing ever since. So just tell us a bit more about that.
Well, that's part of, when I'm dousing, and I get the tap on the shoulder, ask that question from our little furry ones, and they and it's like that's a big one, because we can have these energies. Some people call them energy leaks or dark spots or whatever you want to call it, but I just call them portals, and they are portals. They're a way for energy to get in and out that you may not want to have happen. So, and there's a device we put together, and one of the levels was, everybody says cloak yourself or put an invisible energy around you or a bubble around you. But what we were discovering was that it could actually attract entities to you, like a beacon, like, oh, that's interesting. Let's go over there and see what that is. So what we came up with was, why don't we just put a mirror around it? Because if they are doing anything, because we were getting quite a few attacks with our practitioners at that time, it just reflects out back at them. And it's just like, oh, okay. And it's a very logical thing, but we saw how much of an impact it had, definitely.
Yeah,
So
I use a mirror in my work too. Yeah, it's very important, I think.
Me too. Me
I
too.
think it's
Seals
very,
the-
yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that churches at the edges of churches emit negative energy from the church, and that you can use either a concave or a convex mirror to reflect it back.
Oh, wow.
I've had several friends who I literally couldn't go into their property. It was so negative. I literally just felt ill going into their property, and I was like, dude, you have to reflect that energy back. You know, it's just
Crazy.
or anger line. I've heard as well as a good
I've got
one for doing it.
Yeah, sorry, this is great. We have Christopher's raised his hand. Come off mute, Christopher, and ask your question of Alicia.
I was just wanting to recognize the comments made, especially about how for a lot of us it has been a long time, if not most of our lives, kind of being alone on certain areas, not able to talk to people about it, and how that is very much shifting, transitioning right now. So I'm very much with that, and the whole that lady Alicia was talking about, and how it was evolving as they were doing it. I'm seeing a lot of that happening right now, and it's going faster and faster and faster. I think part of it is helping us remember, like cellular memory, what we are actually capable of, while at the same time working with these new energies coming in or being released, whichever way. But as far as the reflection, I just had this last night. I was just sitting on the porch and had a real sharp pain all of a sudden come in the left side of my head. So I did my shield and did a reflection on it and focused, really focused on it. It took about probably 5 seconds and it was gone. So, I mean, that directly, by experiencing that just last night, it works.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that's all I had. How you?
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. Yeah. Well, it is, and it's going to be, like the 101 monkey effect. As soon as we grab it, it's going to take off, and then that's going to be our next tool. It's so exciting. I mean, just in what's happened in the last 30 days on the healing work that I've been doing and working with people and the stuff that's happened, I'm just blown away. The excitement is, I know what's happening on election things and all of that stuff. It's so mundane compared to what's happening, with all of this. It's too exciting to, and we don't even know what's going to happen yet. We don't need to be afraid of anything, really. We don't.
Agreed.
It's such a blessed time. My goodness. So.
It is. I appreciate you coming and joining us today, because it's always good to connect with like-minded people, and then to be able to share these unusual, but yet also they're not going to be so unusual experiences. Like you say, that more and more people are going to be having these experiences, whether or not it's with the Sasquatch or with elementals or, you know, just whatever energies. There for the longest time, as we were clearing this past year, I was seeing a lot of dark things flying around and just trying to like find a place to attach, you know what I mean? And it's like, and it was like, okay, shields and mirrors. It's like, you know, we just like, but here recently too, within my own being, there were some things that I wasn't quite conscious of, but was being shown that it's like, okay, there's this residual, you know, dark consciousness stuff that's lingering. And I was just watching it just like go up and evaporate and transmute, you know, like I was like, okay, well, this is going to keep me up for a while. I tried to get some sleep that night. That didn't really happen, but there was a lot of clearing that happened. I felt great the next day. And it's just phenomenal to hear your story and that to know that you're, you know, working with other people to help clear. John spoke about you for quite some time now and had great things to say, and I look forward to learning more about you and you know, experiencing your work too. So so we want to definitely leave your contact information when we post this live so people can get a hold of you.
Sure. Yeah, John's got those details. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll post it in the description when we put the video up. Yeah. What's so lovely, Alicia, is that
or they could just reach out telepathically. I think, you know.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. Well, you know, to that point, even if you don't try, you know, we just always meet the right masters or teachers, or we become the teachers, masters. I mean, I don't follow gurus, I don't push that, but I'm just saying we do in flow bump into the right people we need to be talking to. And what I was going to say, Alicia, it's fascinating to hear your story and the divine empowerment you're talking about, because I feel like for all 8.5 billion of us, for those who wish to wake up or are waking up, there needs to be a number of modalities, because people are resonating at 3D, 4D, 5D, whatever we're doing, right? 12D, whatever it is. And it's important to have the healing modality that we resonate with, but also maybe you can't heal. I mean, I would love to heal the world right now if they wanted it. But like you said, I remember I was training with the shamans and they said, really, at the end of the day, you can just snap your fingers and people are healed, but people aren't always ready. And if they're paying their $150 an hour, they want some rattles and some whistling and some, and some feathers, you know, but anyway, but it's like, but it's so super important to have the different modalities developing, because someone's going to resonate with you, Alicia. Someone's going to resonate with so-and-so and Joe and Ralph and John and Kelly and so forth, and reach out to the different people. So I'm just so nice to hear what you're developing, because the right people will come to you, as they have been, it sounds like, and to all of us healers. And, you know, we don't really heal, we facilitate, we're the conduit, right? Yeah. Anyway, really nice to hear your story.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I've found it very interesting since I first discussed the idea of Alicia coming on, and it's part of a question to you, Alicia. Alicia came to me and said, well, who am I? Why would anyone want to hear from me? You know? So my question is, when was it in your life that you developed such an incredible humility and absence of negative ego? When did that happen?
I think falling on your face a lot. You know, and you get up and you go, what the hell is that about? And not staying a victim. I think our world is based on victims, so they can have us as slaves. So all the systems are based on victim. And when you start cracking the codes, then you can understand you are the one that's in control of it. That's so major. So you have to take control over how you think, how you act, how you respond, and it all starts shifting. And so you don't need to have a session with a healer or anything. You just need to come to terms with the fact, are you going to play victim the rest of your life? Or are you just going to get on with it and let's have some fun? Let's go find out how this works. Let's go see how it operates. Why do you want to look at everything negative? You know, and it's, you know, I'm struggling right now with a person that's 22 years old, and she's fighting her demons to get out of this construct that she's been handed to, you know, And it's fascinating to watch to work with somebody, because I'm learning every time I'm working with her, but it's the fact that she's wrestling with her demons and she comes to terms with it and she makes the next step forward. It is the most beautiful thing to watch. But this is a 22-year-old now. And so she doesn't have all this history. Well, we've cleared off a lot of stuff, but she's tackling the things that she gets fearful of at that moment. She's got a very dysfunctional family that doesn't help her, and yet she's the most functional one in the family, and she just doesn't know it. And it's this evolution that she's going through that is just amazing. It's a real gift. I mean, you guys are also practitioners, but it's such a gift to be present in that process. And again, that's that domino effect that starts reverberating out there. And that's why this stuff is moving faster. The more we take that on and we don't stay victim, then we become the creator. So what happens when we're the creator? Everything. So that's, can't get any more exciting than that.
I'm not sure that answered the question, but thank you. That was.
Oh, sorry. Did I drift off somewhere into another oblivion?
Oh, John.
I thought it did. I thought
It
she
was
answered it just
it was
fine.
a loaded question.
Sorry, what was it?
I was going to say,
I
I
said it
think
was
she
a-
did just fine. Sorry, John. She did just fine. Answer the
The,
question.
the victimhood, that's a big piece. That,
I was like,
that keeps you, not being a victim, like, eliminates the need to struggle with ego. It just puts it aside for sure.
Right, that right there, if one can
Right.
get rid of over the ego, it's probably maybe half the journey of figuring out all that shit. And like you said, Alicia, you get kicked in the teeth enough, you get to realize that it's actually not about you. I was sharing with my friends here, I had a morning where it was all about me. And I'm over it now, but getting over that ego of like, it's all about me. It's so interesting, but to realize, as you've said and others have said, that we're sovereign. We have to get over our ego, and that at the same time, it's like running by the right brain, running by our higher selves, not necessarily the ego mind that wants the Lexus and wants the things and, wants it all
Well,
about.
that's what's good. That's what's good about the frequencies. It does speed it up. So you're moving the trauma to the side and the programs to the side, and then you've got this avenue that's open, and you can take a different perspective on it. And that's what a lot of people just need, is that new perspective. They don't think that it's there because they're in it so emotionally entrapped in it that they can't see that avenue anymore. So when you move it back, then they go, oh, and then it goes back further, and then it's gone, and yeah. It's,
Thank you. I get it. Thanks for the clarity, Liz. Appreciate it.
Well, thank
The
you,
other
John,
thing
for
is-
introducing us.
I
Yeah.
just want to mention one thing which I learned from Dolores Cannon, practitioner, and she's been a psychic clairvoyant for 40-50 years, but she said something was missing there in that work, and she said it was to make sure that past lifetimes, that lifetime left completely, that its energetic was still not around in that lifetime. And I said, oh, and she said, Dolores wouldn't work on that area, but she did, and had amazing results. So I started playing around with the frequencies, and I did it with John, and yeah, because if you check, and there's 6 lifetimes that we're hovering around and they didn't move completely, then you can run the frequencies through, and then they go completely. So if there's like a film or a shadow that still sets there, but that affects your genetic code that's there down the lineage in the line, and so you can just do that really quick, and it goes very fast. It's very quick. And I just thought that was a really interesting and important area, at least for people that still carry that. Yeah.
And
Have you
then
run it also? Yes. No.
and you were able to tell me about at least one of my past lives and how I'd been imprisoned and tortured and killed at one point, and you were able to clear the ramifications of that for me.
Yeah, it hadn't gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just clear that out. So it's just boxes in the closet.
Right. Yeah. I came in with that too.
Well,
And
Daniel-
I'm glad you mentioned that, because that is a very important aspect of healing for sure. I've gotten into it a little bit.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Mhm.
There, Daniel has
Fine.
joined us. Daniel, I know you just
Yeah, hi,
joined. If you
Daniel.
have questions, jump in the chat. I do agree with you, Alicia. There's been some modifications of QHHT, and that sounds like one of them. Dolores Cannon was definitely on the frontier, but we're all moving. It's kind of like development of radio frequencies and waves and television. We're moving more into working and doing psychic surgery and doing all kinds of things with these frequencies. Like we all are here doing the work. It's lovely in our various ways to work with frequencies at different levels, be it through sound, through sending the frequencies through a machine or a device or an app. So important. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah. There's more collaboration with everybody too. There's less the ego-y stuff. It's just excitement. Wow. Let's
Yeah,
share.
we need more practitioners, because there's hundreds of thousands of people that are seeking and going to be more so as we have the integrated light coming in, the more refined light, I guess you could say.
And the thing is, when people are really hurting, they can be very vulnerable and be taken advantage of too, or spend too much money that more than they need to spend. And so I think it's really good to have authentic, honest helpers, facilitators out there. You know what I'm saying?
And we tend to attract those, which is great. That's what I love about Kim. What Kim has created is many like-minded people who are we're on the same page. We get each other quite easily, and, so
yeah.
Except for the American English breakdown that we sent.
Okay.
Guys don't
You
talk
wanna
good
go
over
there,
there.
And
You guys don't
including
talk
on
good
a
over there.
humor.
But I'm still as English as ever, even though had the last couple of lifetimes here. I think I've had more lifetimes over there than anywhere, and I feel probably more English than the English many times. I do. I could easily live there again, but yeah, glad to be here unraveling what I'm unraveling at this point. So
thank you, Alicia, so much.
Yeah,
Thank you for being here with us.
It's really, really great for me too. Yeah, it's fantastic to meet you all live, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Alicia, and thanks to you guys too. Been a really good chat.
Yeah, thanks for introducing us. So
yeah, so we'll have your information how to reach you in the description. Do you want to say anything now about how people can reach you, Alicia?
I'm by the website, or I've left the email address, so that's probably the best.
Do you want to say it though right now?
So it's aliciasawaya.uk@gmail.com, and then the website's aliciasawaya.com.
Great, and we'll put it in the description box below. And Daniel, you can catch the whole thing when we finish it up and post it.
Yeah, hi everyone. I'm sorry. I missed time. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Singapore, so I got the time mixed up.
Oh,
that's all right.
Glad
Nice
to see you here. And yeah, we'll have it posted soon.
Yeah, so if everyone's good, we'll end the recording. Yeah.
Okay.
okay.
All good.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.